back to another Clearmud live stream. Today is all about ideation. We're prepping for the boot camp that starts on Wednesday. We'll do any final little tweaks that we need to do. And then I'm just gonna work in public. I wanna work on a few new YouTube script ideas. We're gonna work out a Clearmud OS and we're gonna vibe, answer some questions. So thank you for being here and let's get straight into it. How's everyone doing today? Also, forgive the delay. I'm really trying to start on time, but I really love the idea of I prep everything here, go launch the broadcast at 5, grab an espresso, come back, hit live. I'm loving that routine so far. So when I'm back stateside, it's gonna be a French press with a cup of coffee on my desk. It'll be a little bit different, but let me make sure everything's working here. We have a little bit of an echo. We'll fix that. We'll fix that. So we're live there. Good to go. Make sure that background music isn't too loud. All right, so I've cleaned things up here a bit, but let's go take a look at, if you're subscribed to the newsletter, you got the notice. Announced on Sunday, just the boot camp, all 5 episodes. This landing page is live, so it's a place for you to reference what's gonna be discussed on with each free live stream that starts on Wednesday. Loving how this came together. Loving the Nano Banana generation, which, by the way, I think we should play with Nano Banana 2 today. Oh, sorry, chat. I'm seeing some messages come in, but it's not showing in my OBS. Let me fix this real quick. See what happened here. Aha, that's my mistake. What's up, operator? I can't pin your message, but all messages moving forward, I should be able to pin on chat. Andra, thank you. I will fix it moving forward. Prep earlier. Listen, I will, how about this? At 5 minutes before live stream, that's when I'll prep the broadcast and then go make the espresso. Thanks for the feedback, though. I appreciate it. I wish I could pin these comments. And then operator, no music, huh? Interesting. Thanks for the heads up. What happened here? Display capture. Okay. I think I figured it out. Last live stream, there was some issues with the AI voice generated things that I was playing, and I had to turn that down. So now you should hear the background music. But who has any questions? Who's ready for the boot camp on Wednesday? All right, come prepared. Have a fresh OpenClaw instance installed. And hey, if you want to work out of your existing OpenClaw instance, you're more than welcome to. But for the sake of the boot camp, I recommend starting fresh. That way you get that repetition in, right? And then you can apply what you've learned in the boot camp, building one with me, and then apply that into your existing system. I recommend keeping it separate, right? But you're more than welcome to do it all, you know. Yeah, no, hey, it's not off topic. Shoot. Thanks for the question. Yo, what's up, Vic? Yeah, me too. Happy to hear it. What's up, Gob Izzy? Love the name. I know we mentioned this. And let's just give a sneak peek into content calendar. So I got to finish this one here. Hey, so I have a new, I have a new approach. As much as I wanted to keep the Discord more intimate, right, with builders, I think what I'm going to do is just open the floodgates and trust that people are going to do the right thing and not come in and spam and ask for code and troll and talk crypto and meme coins and all that, right? We're here to talk AI. We're here to build. So I'm going to be opening up the floodgates by Wednesday. I'm just optimizing the Discord so that the general chat is nice and safe. And then I'm essentially removing my bots from certain parts of the Discord so that nobody can try to manipulate them and you know, take advantage of the system. So What I'll do now though, give me 1 second. I'll do 5 quick invites right now in chat. It expires in 7 days. But soon we're gonna have the Discord link in the YouTube bio as well, all right? Can open and run a command on my terminal. You know, I personally haven't tried this. On my VM, you know, that's actually a very, very good question. I don't think it can because it needs sudo access. So you need to essentially run a sudo command for it. Now, I'm wondering if there's a way to communicate with your agent to say, hey, I'd like to give you access to my terminal. What's the steps we need to take? I personally haven't asked it this question. That's a very, very good question. Now, is this hosted locally on your machine or locally on your network, or is this a VPS hosting? Started building off a video from 3 weeks ago, and I think I need to buy some data for the API. Yeah, I mean, right now, listen, I try not to tell you to buy one subscription versus the other, but OpenAI has been very open, no pun intended, about allowing their subscriptions to be used in OpenClaw setups. That's like the safest way, since we don't have clarity from Claude still to this day, right? I think Claude Max subs are okay, but we still don't know. Gemini, I know that Google banned anti-gravity OAuth. Then they started talking about Gemini CLI, and from what I read somewhere is they're kind of backtracking on that. So you might still be able to get away with a Google subscription via Gemini CLI setup token rather than the anti-gravity OAuth, which has been removed as an option from recent OpenClaw updates. Hey, I appreciate you. Listen, we're here to help as best we can. And I'm excited for the bootcamp. I'm excited to just build one from scratch and apply everything I've learned from my first setup to showing you how to build your own setup. Yeah, I mean, I don't think most of us don't, right? My background is that of networking, network engineer, right? I may have experience in the terminal, primarily with Linux-based operating systems, Linux distributions, and like, I'm not a software developer at heart, but I've been able to manage, and I think you can manage too, Vic. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I hope that answers your question up above, though. Oh, wait, no, that was Vida's question. Forgive me. Gave it a simple task, create a folder in my external hard drive. I get a response from OpenClaw that it cannot do this because it does not have control over my machine. Interesting. Did you ask it? So, first off, is this a machine that you don't mind giving it control to? So that's one little distinction I'd like to clarify first. It's hosted locally, okay, okay. Yeah, I personally, you know, I have my OpenClaw setup running in a sandboxed virtual machine, and anytime it does need to run terminal commands, I have to run it for it. But that's by design. I didn't want to give it full access, but it is able to control my browser. It is able to navigate to images, to stage posts for me. That way I just go in and approve, change a few lines here or there. But I'm wondering are you on Mac or Windows? Yeah, you're asking me questions I wish I knew the answer to, and I'm just going to be completely honest. Like, I have not tried that yet, but I do know that there is a Mac OS app. And I have a feeling maybe with this app, you might be able to accomplish it. Now, I haven't personally tested this because I don't want to give any OpenClaw setup to my entire main workspace, right? Okay. Did you install this companion app? I'm wondering, like, listen, I'm going to reiterate, I haven't tested it myself, but I'm wondering if this companion app can pull that off for you. Oh, right on, right on. Hey, I feel like anybody from any industry can vibe code something and can benefit from this tech. Hey, I appreciate it. You know, right now I don't have a Patreon. I think the best ways to support the channel as of now are just show up and do everything that you can do for free. Like every video, comment every video, subscribe, share, encourage others to do the same. I know that once, you know, I'm going through the process of getting monetized on YouTube. It's been a very painful process as I'm stuck on the step 2 before they even review the channel. I had some old AdSense accounts that are apparently conflicting. So they're rejecting me at the second of 3 steps before they even analyze the channel. I think at that point, we'll be able to create like memberships where you can pay monthly on YouTube if you want to support us that way. Listen, I'm never going to tell you to do that, but I would appreciate it, you know, if that's something you want to do. But I'd imagine, you know, hopefully we get that all working within a month. You know, I've been rejected over the past 2 weeks, which is kind of annoying because I know this channel's legit. I know what I'm doing is legit. Like, we're bringing value here. And the fact that we're getting rejected before they even review the channel, to me, it's some type of back-end issue with AdSense that we're sorting out. So we'll see how that goes in the coming weeks. Yeah, so the bootcamp it was inspired off of our video here. That went bonkers, right? It was, it was this one. We're almost at 100K views, which is wild. Now, I made this video out of pure joy and excitement out of what I built. And due to the response of it, I was like, wow, I have a very interesting opportunity, right? I don't want to sell a course. I don't want to be like every other creator who kind of sends you down a path, gives you just enough free content to get you to sign up to some monthly sub. That's not my intent, right? It's my belief that if I focus all my time and energy on providing as much value as possible, front-facing with no paywall, that I will net 100 times that of what I could make from a course or from these tactics that a lot of channels pursue. Now, listen, I respect the hustle of these other channels. I just don't want to be like everybody else, right? So the bootcamp was inspired off of this video. I was like, wow, there's a real need for people to learn how to build this. So let me create a bootcamp that's entirely free, that's going to live on YouTube, and it's going to teach you how to build your own version of MuddyOS. We're not going to rebuild MuddyOS, you know, app by app or tab by tab, but I'm going to take the fundamentals of how it works, and we're going to build our own from scratch. That way people can follow along at their own pace. Now, it is going to span over the entire month of March, as the boot camps are specifically only on Wednesdays. And it'll end on April 1st with the very last video where we fine-tune things, make sure everything's wired together, working properly. But I hope that answers your question about the bootcamp. You can go to the website, go to clearmud.ai, click on bootcamp up top to kind of learn more about what each episode's going to cover. This is a brief kind of checklist of what's going to be covered. Chances are I'll kind of fine tune this before Wednesday, but the 5-episode structure is here to stay. I really like that approach, rather than doing a 10-hour live stream where, you know, let's face it, I have a squirrel brain. Like, I couldn't watch, thinking from the perspective of the viewer, I couldn't consume a 10-hour live stream or a 10-hour video. It has to be broken down into different episodes. And I like that approach because it allows us to answer questions at the end of each episode. And it's all going to be live. So hope that answers your question. Yeah. Right on. Happy to answer. Thanks for the questions. Nice. Hey, tag me on Twitter or X. I'd love to see it. Nice. Okay. Clever. Yeah, so my next step actually I haven't started playing with it yet, but I'm going to try. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I wanna give Muddy and my chief of staff their own ability to log into Discord, our Discord server. This is gonna be segregated, hidden, right? The community won't be able to see this, but in the team HQ, I want them to be able to join a voice chat and talk back and forth. It's not necessary for what I'm building. It's more of a nice to have, not a need to have. And I want to experiment myself before I try to share how to do it, because listen, like, I'm sure it's possible, but my concern is, you know, how efficient is that going to be, right? I think my my daily and weekly stand-ups are efficient enough as they are. I don't think I need to hop in a voice chat and talk real time and then wait for a delay for a response. But like I said, it's going to be a nice to have, not a need to have. So stay tuned. I'll announce more. Like, I'll make a video around it if it's successful and if I think you guys will find value in it. Tuesday's video actually is interesting. Hey, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, listen, like, we just want to do things different around here. Shout out, by the way, I'm a big fan of this guy here. A lot of inspiration. Ralston, I think his name is. He's all about the same thing. He's grown his channel very, very quickly, but he's also worked for a lot of big brands and big names. This dude just brings value. He just gives value. Like, that's it. He doesn't paywall it. He gives value. Let's see. Does he have no, he doesn't. He doesn't have any type of course. He's just given all the value. And I saw in one of his videos, like, he was blown away, but also not surprised at the inbound leads he's received just from giving the value. And the same goes for this channel. I've gotten hundreds. It's overwhelming, but, you know, I'm creating a system to filter things properly. I've gotten hundreds of inbound leads. Now, they're not all qualifying leads, but at least 25 have been people wanting to hire me to do something. I didn't expect that from that video. I made that video out of pure joy and excitement for the system that I built. Pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So there's something to just giving everything away for free, giving that value up front, how that'll benefit you more long term. So, hey, I'm doing good, Biz. How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah. So, and that's also a concern of mine. So right now, the way my stand-up works is it actually pings me in Telegram, right? It does the daily executive sync, the weekly planning, weekly executive sync, and they have their rounds. They go back and forth. I mean, I won't give too much into it, but as you can see, there's a lot of back and forth, and then I get pinged with a voice note of it. And I'm loving the approach, and I don't mind it, right? Because it does take, there is a bottleneck of time from the stand-up completing to generating the audio to then sharing the audio, right? All right, let's go back to it. So this one's actually almost done. But what videos, I have some videos in the queue here. Muddy OS deep dive. This one's on hold for now, because I've improved it and I continue to improve it on a weekly basis. It doesn't make sense to do a deep dive yet because it'll be outdated by the time I record it and post it. So I'm trying to get Muddy OS at a point where I'm very happy with it. For those just tuning in who maybe haven't tuned in a while, one of the features I incorporated, I got out of using the gateway altogether. I also created community bots that report directly to Muddy rather than, a chief of staff. And then I created my own chat feature within Muddy OS that is the main session from the gateway. It has this floating chat blurb that I can review PM board options, right? This gets rolling updated with the stand-ups. The chief of staff all reference this. It wasn't perfect out the gate. I had to do a lot of fine tuning to get it working. But then I have my main chat here, right? But also, no matter where I am in Muddy OS, I can chat with it with this little floating thing that I created. It's awesome. I love it. It is fantastic. Rather than having to tab between two different tabs, I can just operate throughout MuddyOS as I'm talking to my chat, which is pretty nifty. And this is something that it built out. It looks like updated the automations table here. We have a skills table as well, which I'm highlighting in a video. Yeah, so much has been done to MuddyOS since that one video that has close to 100,000 views. It's going to be night and day when we finally do the deep dive. Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? You can start off of Windows or Mac. It's up to you, right? Because we're going to be working primarily out of the gateway. So it's not dependent on your OS. Yeah, and as you can see earlier today, I was doing a little bit of work, but Anthropic, if you guys don't know, let's go actually check the status. They're having some issues today, and Muddy operates off of Opus 4.6. So luckily today's been an ideation day for me. I haven't done too much in OpenClaw. I haven't needed to. My morning stuff ran just fine. I actually did some adjustments to what it builds me overnight. So instead of building me a $1 billion business idea overnight, I now do these microSaaS products. And this, I had it use a default design skill. And then this, I had it reference a front-end design skill that we did. So essentially now, every night it's gonna build me a prototype for a new microSaaS product idea that I could launch, rather than a $1 billion business idea. I like the approach a little bit better. But in my morning brief, it's also gonna include the $1 billion business approach in the morning brief. Like, it's gonna scan socials with all of the tools that I've created. And shout out to, I know I mentioned it in a previous live stream here, last 30 days skill. This is such an amazing research skill. I highly recommend you go check this dude out. Go use this skill, apply it to your system. It's free, it's amazing. Hey, Bran. Yeah, thank you. Back another Monday. Yeah, so moving forward, especially at least for these next 5 weeks, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we live stream without fail. I also decided to delay my trip back to the States so I don't lose any momentum. There's a few other reasons tied into that, but I really love the idea of streaming at 5 p.m. my time. Gives me a full day of preparation before we start boot camps. And we don't lose any momentum, right? I want to make sure we bring as much value as possible. So we go back to the States in April. Yeah, hey. I love that. I need to screenshot that. That's great. You definitely get it back, you know? Yeah, so I honestly didn't specify it at first. I started building it out as a kind of like a Linux distribution at first, and then I didn't like how it looked and I started tweaking things. A lot of that, like, there wasn't one prompt that got me MuddyOS. That's hundreds, like well over 100 hours, possibly even 200 hours now, working in MuddyOS, doing these little tweaks as to how I want it to operate, right? Everyone has different preferences. Some people prefer a vertical left menu bar like Clearmud OS has here, right? And I like that in Clearmud OS, but in MuddyOS, I don't, right? Over here, it's great. I can expand that menu, you know, back down. It's, yeah, a lot of time just went into it. I wish I had a better answer for you. Just a lot of just tinkering and going back and forth with different looks that I liked. You know, I guess if you have the money, sure. I always recommend bootstrapping, starting lean. You know, start with as little as possible, test first. Because let's face it, like most, I don't want to say most, a big percentage of people probably don't need a Mac Mini. They'll buy a Mac Mini, use it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then realize maybe it just wasn't for them. I would first bootstrap it, start as lean as possible, find alternatives, and then justify the expense. Now, if spending $600 is like throwing it away in the toilet to you, then by all means buy a Mac Mini. But I'd never recommend, you know, buying something that you don't truly need yet, right? Nope, we cannot. And the reason here is, you know, as I mentioned, a lot of time went into building it. Okay, so I made the video to inspire you to build your own. So me sharing the source code does absolutely nothing. Additionally, sharing the source code, it would turn into an IT support of this doesn't work, that doesn't work. We need updates, we need this, we need that. Listen, I never advertised I was gonna share source code, so I make videos to inspire you to build your own, all right? Yeah, they really are. They really are. Hey, excited to have you here, man. Excited to have you here. All right. Let's see. I do want to go check out the idea bank, as there was one from today. Ooh, I need to add a filter to filter by most recent. Ooh, I forgot about this one. This would be a fun project. Interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna proceed with it, but I'm gonna run this script command. Hopefully it works, because this does operate off of Opus 4.6, and I know Anthropic's having issues, so we'll find out. This is a hybrid Opus 4.6 to Sonnet, so we'll see. Claude is easy to reverse psychology. When ChatCut was live for Seedance, it called my friend and gave me all their enterprise info. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, so I've trained my bots, especially in Discord, to not be manipulated this way. So we'll see if it happens or not. But there's always vulnerabilities, you know. That's an interesting find, though. Yeah, and today I don't think we'll work on ClawCrib. I want to, but I really want to focus on ideation. Kind of keep the theme of, let's go actually pull up that old canvas that I made. So this is going to be the theme, right? Ideation, vibe coding, operations. I know I'm answering a lot of questions here in chat. I originally wanted to do a silent live, but there's no fun in that. There's no value in that. And then Wednesdays are free boot camp. Fridays a Q&A. I may very well turn this into a ClawCrib Friday. Interesting. Okay. Start with coffee top and say my brain is warming up and talking philosophy. Okay, nice. What local model do you run? Out of curiosity. All right. Let's see what this is suggesting here. Validate any business idea. Ooh, I like that. Why, how, what? It's one of the most powerful frameworks for figuring out what your big business actually. This is a SaaS. This is a micro SaaS product right here. Listen, just because I built my first legit business around that theory. We got to go watch it. Let's see. Golden Theory, Simon. Golden Circle Theory. Yeah, this, I'm shocked it's only 21 million views. I could have sworn that was way more views. But he breaks down the psychology of some of the most successful brands and how he thinks you should build, a brand. And turning this into a micro SaaS product, I kind of like the idea, but you know what? We like building things in public here. So why not build this, right? Do you guys want to see me make this video and build this app? I don't know if we push to production, but I'll at least get a working model for the video. You type in your business idea, hit generate. I feel like it's got to have some more context, right? It can't just operate based off of an idea. It's going to have to go through some type of onboarding. So that's strategy 1. Strategy 2, can AI understand Simon Sinek? No, that's not what we're looking for. Yeah, I mean, it already looks at strategy 1, the one I liked. Let's go look at number 3. I thought I just read that. Or is number 2 number 3? Okay, number 2 is different. I just skipped through it. Yeah, I'm thinking 1. So now it's taking Sonnet with all the logic I have baked into it, and it's going to spin up a script for us. And we'll add that to the content calendar. Yeah, listen, you know, local models are great. And in theory, that's the cheapest way to go about it. If you have the hardware capable of running local models. Chances are most people don't, right? So running a local model means spending thousands of dollars on equipment before you can even run the local model. So honestly, right now, listen, I'm not endorsed by OpenAI, but since they're the one LLM that has openly said, you can use our subscriptions in OpenClaw, I think the cheapest way is to do it with an OpenAI subscription. You know, I don't know if you'll be able to get away with it with the $20 a month one. I think to start, it's not a bad idea. And then you can kind of gauge how quickly you reach the 5-hour, window of usage. But that's probably going to be the cheapest and best way to kind of start learning. And then you start to evaluate if you need to pay the $200 a month plan. Interesting. Okay. I think you should do it. I think you should do it. Most definitely. We're just waiting for this to kick over. I'm wondering if this is running into a bit of an issue. Oh, nice. No, it is processing. It's showing me in chat, so we're just waiting here. Any other ideas? Any other videos you guys want to see? Request them now. Yeah, tomorrow's video, I think is valuable. I have a feeling there's going to be people who don't think it's valuable. But it's just like that with any video. But we do dive into a part of MuddyOS, and it's how I approached the wiring of a multi-agent setup. And I do give you some prompts, right? I don't walk you through step by step because I already have my system set up, right? That's what the bootcamp is for. But it was also a video I had planned for a while and thought Tuesday's the perfect day to drop it, because at the end I drop, the bootcamp landing page and announcement. That way people can then be aware of it based off of the video. Hopefully that'll help, give more eyes on the bootcamp. Okay, it's done. So we're going to add to calendar. Let's go to calendar. And let's view this. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I built it, and you can copy the whole thing. I love how it puts without squirrel do. I didn't ask it to do that. It trains itself off of all of my transcripts. It's pretty cool. like these title ideas. I actually want to see something really quickly here. I was very curious. I was like, is whyhowwhat.com available? Because if it is, I'm going to snipe it right now and we're launching it. But no, somebody is squatting on it, essentially. Trying to sell it for a couple thousand. It's kind of brilliant. Bootcamp's going to start at the same time as these live streams. So 5 p.m. European, well, Western European, and then 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. So all of our live streams will start at the same exact time. That way, no matter where I am, I can commit to, you know, if I'm back in California, I can commit to 9 a.m. without fail, right? I wanted to make sure that this was as consistent as possible with the time that we chose. So hope that answers it. Oh, and I'm not, I decided to stick around Europe for a while because I want to make sure that I don't lose any momentum. When I go back to the States, there's some things I got to take care of. Apartment kind of under construction. So yeah, it just didn't want any conflicting energies to kind of cause me to then not focus all of my time and energy on giving you as much value as possible. So no, I'm using an M1 Max. Murilu, thanks for tuning in. And you too, John, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the question. How could I use ChatGPT to help increase the knowledge base bot? What do you mean exactly? You're talking about your OpenClaw setup, right? Or are you talking like about a custom workspace or GPT? I'll be honest, I don't work too much out of ChatGPT anymore. I did earlier last year, quite a bit, but I've kind of steered away from using it altogether, to be honest. I only use it for Codex 5.3 now in the CLI. Oh, it's already Tuesday where you are. Okay. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think I have the dates. What I'll do is each week, right? I generally schedule the live stream about 24 hours before. And I'll make sure that each week, maybe what I can do is schedule all the live streams ahead of time. But then again, that would conflict. So within, I would say 12 hours of going live, you'll see a live stream scheduled. But yeah, that's, man, where are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'm guessing in a Southeast Asian country, right? Because they're one day ahead already. I think they're at least 6, 7, 8 hours ahead. That's my guess. And just to confirm, your OpenClaw bot, right? Yeah, this is more of like, this is going to be a video I'm building for me. Thailand. Okay, right on, John. Well, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Yeah, I believe you're 6 hours ahead, or are you 7? No, if you're already Tuesday, obviously you're more than 6 hours ahead. Running a Mac Mini M4 for the lightweight tasks, and my PC was 64 gigs of RAM. Right on, right on. Yeah, I've been getting away with M1 Max, maxed out GPU and CPU, and then only 32 gigs of RAM. And I only allocate half of those resources to the VM, and it's been solid for me. But I don't run any local models, so. Yeah, so how could you use ChatGPT to help increase the knowledge base of your OpenClaw? I mean, a lot of it starts, we'll talk about that on Wednesday, right? With episode 1 of the bootcamp, because episode 1 is all about, you know, feeding it as much context as you can, starting with the basics, building out the wireframe of the system. And then I'm going to give you homework. And the homework is to test, to experiment, to build your own little mini apps while you wait for the next Wednesday to come around, right? Because you can build within your setup while you're waiting week to week. My setup is primarily covering, you know, how to wire together multi-agent teams, how to build a Muddy OS replica, but we're going to take a different approach to the UI, right? I want to take a completely different approach to how it's going to look. The tab features along the top will remain consistent, but I want to change the left menu bar entirely. I hope that answers your question, but I guess here's another approach, right? Is you can start prompting ChatGPT in the web, talk to it and say, hey, I'm getting ready to set up my own OpenClaw bot. I'd like it to do X, Y, and Z. What kind of deep research can we do here that I could then feed to my OpenClaw bot, right? So maybe that's some preparation that you can also take. You know, countless of my commands in Clearmud OS have come from me downloading YouTube transcripts of certain interviews with certain creators, you know, summarizing certain methodologies behind script generation, title, thumbnail, hook, all of that. And I did all of that primarily in Claude in the desktop app. I also used Perplexity in the web. What else did I use? I used a number of different models. Also Notebook LM by Google. That's a killer deep research tool. And then I, you know, summarized all of that context into a methodology, which then I fed to Claude Code when I was building out this back in the day when it was primarily a CLI and Obsidian workflow. So yeah, a lot of it is just like doing that preparation ahead of time, figuring out what you want it to do, right? And then using different models to do research. Don't sleep on Google's Notebook LM. It's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool. Yeah, you can, for sure. You can. Raspberry Pis, I'm sure they've gotten faster, but it would just be too slow for my liking, personally. But you can definitely do that. Hey, happy to hear it. Thanks for the questions. Hey, going good. Unfiltered Faith. Appreciate you for tuning in. Going good. Thanks for watching, man. Thanks for catching up on all the live streams. That bootcamp starts Wednesday, so I hope to see you there. Hey, thank you. Hey, so I just provided a link in this chat. If you scroll all the way up. Let's see, did anybody join? We're going to be opening it up like completely very, very soon. I'm just kind of simplifying the Discord. So here's the invite one more time. Bam, bam. Yeah, I have some bots in the Discord right now, but I'm deciding I'm going to disable them from general chat because, listen, I want to believe everyone's going to come in with the right intent, but listen, there's bad actors everywhere, and someone's going to try to manipulate the bots at some point. So that's going to be for the team only until I feel comfortable, you know, allowing the chat to talk to them. So I'm going to be making those changes this evening. Clay might still be accessible right now, but Clay operates off of Gemini 3 Flash, very cheap model. And we are going to have there's already a Discord pruning bot that 21 days of inactivity, you get kicked, right? We want builders. We want people to come in and build and share, right? So come share what you're building. Come talk about your difficulties. Come ask questions. Come help each other, right? And for the love of God, don't come asking for code, all right? Because I will eventually create a rule that you just get insta-banned if you just ask for code. That doesn't teach you anything, right? Asking questions on how to build things teaches you something. Asking for code teaches you nothing, right? Hey, appreciate you, Young Dream. Yeah, good to see you back. I know you've tuned into some live streams in the past, for sure. I recognize the name. All right, so that's one. I probably should put this out of... This has kind of been backlogged. And I added this here because a lot of people asked for this specific video, right? I made a how to deploy your Cloud Code project on Vercel. It was very basic. And then I mentioned in the video, if you want to learn how to set up branches so that you don't always push to main production at first. So maybe we proceed with this one. Maybe I record this week. It'll bring some value. So I'll move that in. We're going to put this back into Idea. Oh, this was also another one that, I'm between these 3 videos this week. Maybe I try to knock all 3 of these out tomorrow. At least get the recordings done. I'm guessing 5 people already clicked it. Let's see. We'll do another 5 right now. Yeah, so notebooklm.google. Like, I'll give you an example. I made a video around this, but I essentially created my own one-on-one access with Alex Hormozi. And as you can see, I pasted in a ton of source URLs from all of the, some valuable interviews of his. And then you get this audio overview. It's kind of like a podcast that summarizes everything, and then you can go in and ask questions about your brand, and the AI voices that are kind of going back and forth in podcast format will then answer your questions specific to your brand and who you are based off of all of the research, all of the source documentation that we provide. It's kind of insane. We'll do a quick audio overview, but let's go look at the older one here.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a pretty methodical look at the architecture of accelerated achievement.
Yeah.
We've been studying the mindset shifts and, the cold, hard formulas shared by some highly successful entrepreneurs and investors.
Right.
And our mission here is really to...
Oh, you have to click interactive. That's one thing I forgot to click. And then it'll start over. That's the only weird thing I hate is you can't just listen to it in the kind of like MP3 player format. You have to be interactive and then hit play.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a pretty methodical look at the architecture of accelerated achievement.
Yeah.
We've been studying the mindset shifts and, the cold, hard formulas shared by some highly successful entrepreneurs and investors.
Right.
And our mission here is really to cut through all the motivational noise. We want the actionable framework, the thing that turns ambition into, exponential results.
That's right. Because if you want to
Anyone
achieve
want to ask it a
wealth
question?
and real velocity,
Give me a
in
question
learning,
to ask Alex
you kind of have
Hormozi
to discard
in the chat,
these romantic
and I'll ask
ideas
him
about success.
for you.
You have to embrace the physics of progress. And I think the most compelling insight from all this material is that the path to failure, it isn't paved with some mystical list of secrets. It's paved with an obvious list of actions that nearly everyone just avoids.
And the sources are so blunt about what sits at the root of that avoidance. We talk a lot about strategy gaps or, execution failures, but the number one emotional roadblock,
Yep.
the single biggest cause of stagnation, is identified as simple fear.
Just fear.
Fear of effort, fear of judgment, and maybe most importantly, fear of accepting objective reality.
That fear of reality is the key. It directly informs the first major shift you have to make.
Shoot me a question.
Which is?
Escaping
As soon
the
as I hear
complaint trap.
something to ask about Clearmud,
Okay,
I'll
so
do
when you
it.
hear someone complain about their market, their boss, their luck, whatever it is, what's the underlying psychological error they're making?
It's the belief that reality owes them something other than what they're getting. Complaining at its core signals that you're holding an inaccurate model of how the world works. You expected X, you got Y, and instead of adjusting your model.
You demand that reality itself bend to what you wanted.
Exactly. So the first fundamental step for any progress is just accepting reality as an unchangeable input. It's the baseline for your effort, not a source of grievance.
And once you accept that baseline, you can radically recalibrate what even defines success. This is where the source material gets very practical, I think, about emotional sustainability.
Absolutely. High achievement is it's a brutal effort. You need internal resilience.
So what's the strategy?
The strategy is to define small, reliable metrics for a good year or a good day that are entirely within your control.
For example.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to pause this real quick. What's up, Greek? Reality owes me? Please elaborate. Please elaborate here. That's not a question.
A great year is just waking up pain-free for 70% of days. Or, simply getting to have a quality coffee conversation with a loved one once a week.
So these low-level goals, they're like the emotional maintenance that allows you to sustain the high-level effort somewhere else.
That's it. It's about grounding yourself, which contrasts so sharply with this illusion of the golden years where people look back and romanticize past periods.
Oh, like their 20s being so easy and carefree.
That's the nostalgia trap. We just edit our memories for comfort. One of the sources recalled his wife reminding him that during his supposedly golden 20s, he was actually miserable.
Right.
Constantly stressed about rent, desperately seeking any form of...
Oh, hey, I think our listeners got something to say.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Alex about signal versus noise.
That is a fantastic question and actually a really central theme to this entire framework.
Okay, let's unpack this because signal versus noise is the ultimate skill in this acceleration game, right?
Absolutely. The greatest skill, as described by the source, is the ability to discern what things to use and what things to cast out.
It's the central narrative of all achievement, especially now with information overload.
Yeah, and the noise is everything that leads you astray. It's the amorphous words, the motivation manifesto, the stuff that sounds good but can't be translated.
So if you can't turn advice into do this instead of that, period, it's probably noise.
Precisely. The signal, the value, is found in the most crystallized, distilled, concentrated information that translates directly into actionable behavior.
That distinction right there, that focus on the actionable signal, is why the sources are so focused on observable behavior.
It connects right back to our original point about escaping the complaint trap.
The complaining is noise because it doesn't change reality.
Correct. The signal is the objective reality you must accept as your baseline. It's the it just is true fact.
I really like that context. That focus on action gives us a great segue back into where we were.
Absolutely. We were talking about the nostalgia trap.
Where we edit our memories for comfort.
Exactly. And the signal of truth is that your current situation is often Oh, go for it.
I'd like Alex's advice. So I run a YouTube channel. So I guess I have to talk quicker.
I think we can absolutely channel some of the core advice. Oh, yeah,
I'd like Alex's advice. I run a YouTube channel called Clearmud. Our goal is making AI simple and easy to use. Now, one thing I want to make sure I do is never sell people a course. I want to bring as much upfront value as possible as per Caleb Ralston's advice and inspiration. Now, I know Alex Hormozi might take a different approach, but I want some ideas on how he would approach monetizing down the road.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Looks like my mic
Clearmud
is getting
AI,
cut off
simple
here.
and easy. That's a huge value proposition right now.
And we love that you're leaning into that give first philosophy, inspired by Caleb and that Hormozi media mission.
Okay, let's address your point about never sell people while bringing massive upfront value.
You're not actually avoiding selling. You're just shifting when the conversion happens, and that's exactly the strategy.
Alex Hormozi's framework on value is exactly this. Provides so much value that you are, in effect, prepaying for the customer.
It's about being so clear about the facts and the value you provide that your audience says, I love that guy because he told the truth.
So the advice here for Clearmud is to focus on what the source material calls one-of-one content.
Show or say what only you, with your specific insights into simplifying AI, can say. Avoid the generic book report content.
You want to use the insights you've gained to create content that provides so much value that they're compelled to buy, not just sold to.
And to get tactical about the selling part, because this is where many people miss the signal.
The sources are very clear. You should do so much work that it would be unreasonable for you not to be successful.
That's the core. It simplifies the entire complex problem of achievement.
If you fail, it's not bad luck.
You failed because the volume of your effort was not sufficient to overcome the statistical noise of the market.
So for Clearmud, that means a violent, unreasonable amount of content creation.
It's a complete reframing of the effort required for success, and it validates the kind of unreasonable amount of work that's necessary.
Now, this immediately shifts focus back to observable behavior, which is where we were headed before your question.
Okay.
Exactly. We were talking about the nostalgia
stop.
trap where
You get an idea of how this works, right? It's an amazing tool. You just got to put in the time to like compiling all the source material for the tool. And I have a feeling you'll just love it. I need to start using that every day again. I'm guilty. I don't use it every day anymore. And look at this. My AI is just checking in with me. It looks like it's being proactive. So it has some ex-post drafts to do Bootcamp promo for me. Episode 1 full cascade plan with an audience capture skill to drive newsletter signups during the series. I'm going to push back against that because, listen, I don't want to try to mask that we're paywalling anything. No, I mean, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, great. That's not required, right? But I love how my AI is being proactive with me. Let's see. Intelligence Pulse. Iris has been tasked with a competitor scan to ensure Bootcamp positioning is sharp against other AI agent content. Okay. I'm guessing this is some stuff I'll have to review here in a second. Interesting. I'm loving it. Now, I do want to generate some ideas real quick. Yeah, it's an awesome feature. And you know, the feature I love the most is being able to listen and interact. If they get to a point in the conversation and you have a specific question, you can ask it. And they will answer only based off of the source material that you provided as context, which I think is just, it's an amazing tool. You failed because the volume of your effort was not strong enough to overcome the statistical noise of the market. Hey, failing is just one more step to success, right? Or one less step to success. You know, you got to fail a bunch. Keep failing. Fail more. Fail often. Yo, what's up, Vive? Vevi? I'm just going to call you Zombie. What's up, Zombie? Thanks for welcome back. I recognize the name. How you doing today? All right. That video that I want to generate some ideas off of. Give me a second. I kind of want to pump the brakes on making OpenClaw long-form videos because I already have a few in the queue, as well as these boot camps, right? I really want to focus all my time and energy around OpenClaw content through those boot camps. So I think that the 2 that we have in the queue that are actually almost ready, right? One's done. I need to schedule this for tomorrow. And then this one's almost done. I just got to fine tune the intro. I think what I'll probably do is this Tuesday, next Tuesday, one of these will be Thursday, this Thursday, and next Thursday. And then let's actually go look at the backlog. Because sometimes I'll put something into the backlog that this was a duplicate, didn't need it. This was kind of repetitive, I didn't see the point. This one might be necessary. OpenClaw security, is it actually dangerous? Interesting. Interesting. I kind of like putting this back in the idea column. I don't think it's as necessary anymore, but oh, did I not save that change? There it is. Okay. How about this? Maybe we do some more OpenClaw comparisons. Because I really loved that OpenClaw versus Claude Code CLI. Maybe we do a Gemini 3.1 CLI. Let's see what ideas it comes up with for me. interesting. I replaced myself with OpenClaw, Gemini 3.1 for 7 days, a week-long experiment. That's going to take a while to record. I'd rather knock one out tomorrow. Yeah, but 3.1 Pro is not, I mean, it has a free tier, but that's kind of misleading there. I don't like that. I feel like if anything, it should be a visual focused build. Oh, this is actually very interesting to kind of like repackage as insert model here, then automations. Huh. This I can't do due to not having the hardware. Yeah, I'm not gonna do this. This is not something I don't care. I'm not giving it access to spend funds quite yet. Although I suppose with the business account, I can always create a separate credit card with a certain limit. That way it doesn't go out of hand and it gets its own credit card number. I think I'll do that at some point. At some point. I'm not ready to give it that much access quite yet. Yeah, I'm not really vibing with those. Maybe we'll try this. Right on, zombie. Well, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, today is all about ideation. We're just vibing here, right? I'll answer questions as they come in, but I really just want to focus around my normal Monday, which is coming up with ideas, kind of revisiting my backlog, right? This is actually interesting. It would obviously be a video that I launch after the 7 days, right? But I could use OpenClaw to essentially create a workflow that just blindly approves a microSaaS and launches it. Interesting. Listen, you'll never find me making these types of videos, right? Unless I actually have the proof of work. Listen, I'm not one of those creators who's gonna lie to you. So I really hate that Patty Galloway's methodology kind of gives me these ideas. But again, this was for me downloading similarly to Alex Hormozi. I downloaded countless YouTube transcripts of him interviewing on other shows. He has specific tactics that gets applied to some of the biggest channels in the world. And, you know, they work for a reason, but I'm not going to take that approach. I do get ideas from it, and sometimes, you know, I'll have to tweak it. I like this one. This is giving people ideas and giving people a timeline on how they can, the time frame of building it. This one's interesting. I'm really loving this one. We're adding that to the idea bank, and we might create a script right now for it. Yeah, let's write a script for this, shall we? I also have to fix this. There's a slight UI issue. Voice note for later. We need to add this to the Clearmud OS to-do list for Saturdays. The YouTube script command, it has a full width feature where all of the other elements look like 3/4 width. So it should be consistent throughout. I'm going to take a screenshot for your reference. Add this to our list. Backlog and fix Saturday. Okay. Just wanted to save that note in there. How did you find your first gym that you purchased? Was that a question for Alex Hormozi? A little delayed? because I've never purchased a gym. I don't know where you got that from, if that was directed towards me. I'm guessing that was a question for Alex Hormozi. If it was, I can go back into that chat and ask him. Go back to generate ideas, and I do want to scratch this one more time. Kind of like the idea of combining the two, an OpenClaw AI agent setup plus microSaaS automations. I want to see what kind of ideas this comes up with. Let's go back up to strategy 1. Research looks solid. I mean, this is, right, like anybody can do this. But the microSaaS isn't targeted towards people who can vibe code. It's targeted towards people who are amazed by the idea that you can take a screenshot and create a landing page from it, right? I'm almost thinking like a napkin sketch, right? Sketch something on a napkin and have a website. And it's just a simple website that people visit, upload their napkin sketch, right? And it builds them a website. Like, I don't know if that exists out there. I would probably call it napkin sketcher or something along those lines. It's an interesting idea. Okay. Phase 2, let's go to the ideas of the videos. Let's see. Strategy 1, the weekend builder, recommended. 5 microSaaS ideas you can build this weekend with Gemini 3.1 Pro. I don't like this one because that's misleading. I would never put all profitable because this is a demo of building. I like strategy 1. So now it's going to spit out the script for us. And in the meantime, I want to go just double check episode 1. This will definitely be the most time consuming to tweak. Bam, bam, bam. Wire things together. Cron jobs. I think that checks out. We doing Claude? Still an issue, huh? Investigating, we were seeing a repeat of this issue. We were currently, you know what's odd? Maybe it's not. Just the timing of all the drama for them to start having issues like this. Oh, it's too funny. It's too funny. I need to look into why this is taking so long. This should be a lot quicker, and I have a feeling since we're using Claude CLI for these commands, I have a feeling it's related to that. Why it's taking so long. Yeah, we need to fine tune that. Hey, nice. See the Discord filling out a little bit, huh? Yeah, I'll leave Clay active for now, but more likely than not, we're going to disable him pretty soon. Yeah, I mean, clearly there's some Claude CLI issues because this never took this long in the past. It is finishing though, so it simply kept retrying. I'm sure it kept running into errors. Beautiful. So let's go add to calendar, go to our content calendar, and let's go view this, shall we? Yeah, but that's not like, sometimes these hooks are I have to fine tune them a little bit, right? So can Claude. Claude can do this too, so it's kind of misleading. So I'd have to adjust this hook. Hook analysis should not be in here. It's something I need to fine tune. This is valuable. I'm going to show you all 5, build quick demos of each, and then give you the prompts to copy. Let's actually go read this in recording mode. So idea 1, logo feedback tool. I mean, you can use any LLM, like I think this one's kind of redundant and pointless, but that's just from my persona, my you know, how my brain works. It definitely wouldn't be something I'd pursue. The screenshot to landing page is an interesting one, but it's primarily targeting like the napkin drawers is probably how I would frame that one. Let me just do a quick Google search. Turn your napkin drawing into a website. Okay, apparently this was advertised for GPT-4. I found a website with an article that has a 404 link. Type Dream talks about, so a lot of people are talking about the napkin to website kind of terminology. The visual AI for business storytelling, napkin.ai, interesting. Okay, there's already somebody doing this. I don't know how legit this tool is, but I do love the UI on the website. It's pretty cool. So this obviously wouldn't be something that I'd pursue, but maybe it's something we can create in the demo. I'm going to have to revise these ideas because I don't like these ideas for these microSaaS products. I wouldn't record this video as is. I'd want to make sure they're a little more unique, you know? I've already built one of these in a past video. Yeah. So I think what I'll do here is we're gonna trash this idea. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like that at all. So I'm going to redo that queue of generate ideas, but we're going to go based off of the strengths of Gemini 3.1 and see if we can't see some different results there. This one's kind of like freaky and interesting. Kind of like it. This is actually an interesting one here. Excuse me. I feel like this would be a great live stream, to be honest. I really like this idea for a live stream, actually. So let's backlog that. Let's go and add it into the live streams. Give it a red emoji. And let's backlog this for April 15th. That would be a fun live stream. That would be very fun. Yeah, I like that. Okay. We still have to find one more video. Go back and generating some OpenClaw ideas. And this is a majority of my Monday. So today I didn't have a normal Monday. Kind of started a little bit late. Had to take care of a few other things, IRL. But normally the day starts with just silence, right? Kind of gaining my thoughts and no notifications, no cell phone, no nothing. Usually for the first hour. And then I generate 10 ideas just from the top of my mind without referencing anything, without even using this tool. And then later on in the day, I'll start to use the tool. Once I figure out what ideas I like the most, then I write the YouTube scripts for them. And then we work on thumbnails. This is an interesting one. We don't have the budget for this right now, but this is an interesting one to do down the road. I want to add that to the idea bank. I love that. This is actually a very, very interesting video that I think I can make after the bootcamp. Add that to the idea bank. Let's add that to the idea bank. This is actually a topic that I've been meaning to cover, so let's generate some ideas for it. Are you talking about Notebook LM? If you are, I'll kind of show you. Once you create your workspace, right? Off to the right, you have your sources on the left. You kind of have the summary chat in the middle. And then on the right, you have this studio option. So you do an audio overview, and then it's going to generate that audio overview. It's not instant. It takes 5 to 10 minutes, depending on, it might even take less, depending on the number of source documentation and source URLs you provided. But you can also do a video overview. So I'll show you here. It also created this like infographic style demo.
Have you ever felt like you're,
which has different slides.
you know, if you
It's very
want to achieve
interesting.
things that other people
It's very interesting. But yeah, you control all of that. Once you configure the space with the sources and it summarizes everything, then you can go and create these options here. A report, a slide deck, video overview, flashcards, infographic, all this stuff. This is actually new. I'm curious. Let's create an infographic. Let's create a mind map as well. Let's just create one of each to kind of show you everything. Why not, right? I don't like those first two. Oh, this one's interesting. OpenClaw is dangerous. Sure, it is. Here's why I use it anyway. Oh, I love that. Why can't I click that button? What's going on? Is it still generating? There must be some UI glitch there because what is going on there? Huh. Another voice note to add to the Clearmud OS improvements. Oh, never mind. There was just a slight delay on my end. Impatient. Oh my God, there's about to be so many duplicates, isn't there? I'm not gonna like what I'm about to see, am I? Jeez, I clicked it too many times. Let's go ahead and remove that. Yeah, there appears to be a slight delay. I wonder if my VM is doing something funky. But let's go ahead and generate this script. And let's generate a script. I'm really loving this idea. Oh, and let's go review some things that it's built over the weekend for me. Interesting. Script retention coach. Huh. I think what I'll have to do is cross-reference this and the actual retention graphs on each video to see if it's accurate. That'll be a fun tool to play with. Pre-production tool, video brief generator. Shouldn't that go in this part? All of our pre-production stuff? I think it should. Oh, that one's not ready to preview yet. It will be soon. Oh yeah, let's go back to Notebook LM really quickly just to see what those look like. Oh, wow. What an interesting, I mean, it's got that look that is clearly AI, and you're starting to see it. People call this AI slop. You know, I think the way to prevent AI slop generated infographics is to have a very specific brand styling kit. Looks good, don't get me wrong, but to me, it's clearly AI generated. This is really cool looking though. This is really cool. This is really cool. Entrepreneurship flashcards. According to Hormozi, what is the operational? Okay, so this is like if you're trying to memorize like his approach. Cool little feature, right? I think this is more for like studies if you're trying to learn a topic. I don't think that would apply to this. I personally wouldn't use that. No, that's the same infographic. Okay, here's the table. I probably wouldn't use that. Where's the mind map? I think this is the mind map. Interesting, very cool. Just a fun little visual that it breaks down. Kind of like it. Yeah. Hope that answers your question, Vic. And I hope I was referencing the right thing when you were asking that. One is safe, one is powerful. Interesting. I don't like that one. The risk report. Here's what can go wrong. I don't really like that title. Yeah, I mean, I like the original warning anyway. I mean, this isn't necessarily true. I'd have to alter this script. So no, you're not bugging me at all, Vic. I appreciate the question. And the questions, rather. Today is just all about me kind of going through my normal ideation, my normal workflow. I know when I'll be back in California, it'll actually be a little bit more authentic to how my mornings are, because back in California, it will be 9 a.m. when I go live. So you'll actually see me drinking coffee, going through my process. Chances are those will be silent lives, and I'll only answer questions either at the beginning or the end. But hey, we're kind of rolling with the punches here and improving as we go. So I don't mind, you know, I have a little chat window open right here so I can keep track of if any new messages are coming in real time. What's interesting here is this is supposed to detect that I want a new script written. Now, it looks like it's skipping that step. I honestly haven't had to do this in a while. It's been pretty solid. So we're discovering some issues with Clearmud OS that I have to fix with certain underlying commands. We'll see. We will see. done. Oh, I see. Mudilu, I saw you stop by. What are you DMing me for? I also have all notifications turned off during live streams. So, but because I'm working on the Discord server in line. Mudilu, I swear, I'm live streaming. This is my little cousin, by the way. Love him. But Moody, don't DM me these questions. Ask me in the chat. These are actual questions that I feel like the public could benefit from. So I'm not going to answer your questions in the DMs until you write them in chat. My guy, what are you doing? Oh, that's comedy. That's comedy. I hope he's still in here to hear that. All right, let's add this to calendar. It looks like it didn't give me another 3 versions to look at, so let's see how it did. I need to fix that in Clearmud OS. Yeah, so for me personally, I use the script writer as like, kind of like talking points. I never read a script word for word. It doesn't feel authentic to me. But I do take the time to kind of fine tune it as if I would. The hook, I'll sometimes narrow down word for word and I'll do the intro like 10 times until I nail it. But always the natural flow of my videos are always just me. It's authentic. I shoot from the hip, right? But I do take time before I record any video to read through the script, to read through the talking points, to then add bullet points at the top. You know, a lot of my scripts that I record, what I'll do is in the hook, I'll add bullet points. That way I don't need to go down and read the whole script, right? I don't read things verbatim. To me, this is a source of inspiration and a source of summarizing what's being discussed, and then I create it in an authentic way to me. I'm just not the type of person who can read a teleprompter. Let me rephrase that. I'm sure I can read a teleprompter, but I just choose not to because it doesn't feel authentic. It feels like I'm reading off of a list of, line items rather than actually explaining something that's up here, rather than reading something on the screen, right? But yeah, hey, listen, everyone's different, right? Some creators can't do that. Some people who record videos can't shoot from the hip. Listen, it's all about playing to your strengths and understanding your weaknesses, right? I prefer to shoot from the hip. That's just my approach, and it feels more authentic and genuine. And I think that reflects itself in the videos too. Because you see some of the raw moments as well of like me possibly making a mistake that I won't cut out of the edit, right? What's up, Sue? Are you saying Sue? Is this a Cristiano Ronaldo thing? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Ronaldo over Messi. Hate me if you want. I have a Claude bot on VPS running. How can I shift? Are you saying how can you shift to a local setup? If that's the case, there's a number of ways you can approach this. One, ask your bot, and it'll give you a step-by-step on how to do it. That's the easy way. Number two, I would create backups either to a Google Drive or a GitHub account. Make sure the GitHub account is a private repository. Give your OpenClaw setup access to it and say, hey, I'd like to back up this entire system to this private GitHub repo so that I can restore it onto a local setup. And then once you have things working locally, like if you take the approach of backing it up and then spinning up a new session, and then you can... Oh, we just had a weird little glitch. Then you can just import all of that data. I've had to restore my OpenClaw setup once from a GitHub backup, and it worked almost flawlessly. I have my backups working in a way that if my repository were to ever get compromised, there's no secrets there. So I did have to reconfigure a lot of my tokens and API keys, right? But those were minor, right? Minor in the grand scheme of like all my workspaces, all my projects, everything was restored like that. It was awesome. So that would be my approach. How can we make or get this OS Clearmud? OS Clearmud was built for me. I have some intentions of selling it down the road, turning it into a SaaS product for other creators. But as of now, that is not my focus. My focus is just making each video better than the last and bringing you as much value as possible. So to follow up, you know, you can make it by trying to recreate your own. If you look on this channel, I did a video for Clearmud OS. I think it was titled, I Built an AI Content Suite. And I show you a lot of these applications in Clearmud OS. I actually built as Claude Code CLI workflows with Obsidian workflows built in, right? So it would operate in the Claude Code CLI. I would spin up a command, it would generate the outputs, and then I would review those outputs in Obsidian, right? But then with my OpenClaw setup, I also built this graphic user interface on a live stream. In that video, I reference all of the source YouTube videos that I took the time. Like I've built all of this, most all of this in public. Mind you, there's a lot of self-improvement apps, things that were done overnight from my OpenClaw setup, but a lot of the core applications that I still use in Clearmud OS, I literally show you step by step how to do it yourself, right? So like, I would say go back, watch that one video. I reference countless other videos of mine that I created different parts of this. I brought it all together. If you do want to see me launch this as a SaaS product, drop a comment below. You know, if I get enough people pinging me saying they want to pay me to use Clearmud OS, I'll make a public facing version of it. It's just not my focus right now. I built this for me. I didn't build this to sell. But that's not to say I won't sell it down the road. Been working a lot on the past week, and they're very trained in business and services. I want to shift into content creation as well. Yeah, this one's interesting, right? So since you already have your OpenClaw agents set up, you have that benefit of, you know, maybe you go consume some content about content creation. Maybe you go watch some interviews from the likes of Patty Galloway, some of these big YouTubers that have helped some of the biggest YouTubers get to where they are, right? You have to first figure out what type of content you want to create. And then here's how I would approach it. I would feed those YouTube URLs to my OpenClaw agent and say, hey, I want to get into, and this is my understanding of your comment, I want to get into content, let me go pin that one more time. I want to get into content creation, right? But it's based off of, I'm assuming it's based off of how you've trained your agents, right? You want to create content around the data that you've trained with? Is that what I'm understanding? That's the approach that I would personally take, is I would start feeding it YouTube URLs of different approaches and different creators who talk about different approaches and say, create a methodology here. I want to start creating content. And then you have to get specific. I want to create short form. I want to create long form, right? Just got to make sure there's always a hook. Like, this is why taking the time to do the research of like what you want to create first and foremost, and then feeding it source information. It will download all those transcripts and then spit out some solutions for you. Yes, honestly, I still use Obsidian to this day. I still use some older CLI workflows with Obsidian because it's just not something that I needed to incorporate into either one of my OSs. They're for other things. I still use the CLI for most of my client work, right? I haven't built an OpenClaw agent for client work yet because, you know, to me, my agents are built off of freeing up my time, right? Freeing up my time is my #1 ROI metric that I track as of now. I do plan on setting up an entirely brand new OpenClaw instance where the goal is to see how much money it can make me. But I don't want to get to that point until I feel confident in my ability to create that, right? I don't want to just create that for the sake of creating it and making a video that I created it, right? I don't make videos for that reason. I make videos because I want to make them, right? So everything you see on this channel is the one shift I noticed with this channel is if you look back at my very first video, very first 10, 15 videos, maybe even 20, I was creating videos that I thought people wanted to see. But then the true unlock and enjoyment of this channel happened when I just started creating things that I wanted to create for me, right? That I also thought, you know, maybe 5 people will find value in this, and that's good enough for me. right? So, but yeah, going back to it, I still use Obsidian. And I have a lot of videos on that workflow. So I hope that answers your question. Sorry to squirrel and ramble there for a little bit. Codex versus Claude for beginner vibe coders. Ooh, Claude, I would probably say Claude. Codex writes the better code base. It takes longer. It's slower. But if you don't care about speed, maybe Codex is the move. But I do like Claude a little bit more from a beginner's mindset. But I don't think Claude offers free trials. I'm pretty sure ChatGPT does. But there's some solutions out there where you can just demo a $20 a month plan and just try creating the same thing on both and seeing which one you like more. I'd probably lean Claude personally, just because of the speed and the reasoning. Are you saying you would like to see it turn into a SaaS product? What's up, Jason? Thanks for the question. So, curious how you connect multiple agents to each having their own Discord channel. For example, personal work agent, each with their own Discord channel. So, a lot of this involves, right, you can have one primary OpenClaw setup. And then what you want to tell your OpenClaw agent is say, hey, I'd like to create a completely separate workspace with another agent. It doesn't need to have its own gateway, but it does need to have its own session chat. And then it will guide you through the process of how to configure that. I personally couldn't show you right now because my particular Discord, let me see how much I'm comfortable showing you. And this is another like trick with my Discord. It's like I was using it personally first, and then I thought, let's open it up. But now I have to like segregate things to make sure nobody can try to manipulate the bots. But yeah, a lot of how I configured mine was asking my agent. And here's the key that a lot of people aren't talking about. You ask your agent and make sure you give it a link to the docs.openclaw.ai. Everything your agent operates off of is in here. Everything your agent can do is in here, right? So when you ask it a question, give it the link docs.openclaw.ai, and it will analyze all of the documentation for you and present it in a step-by-step, here's what we need to do to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So I hope that answers your question, Jason. But the trick is multiple work, like each agent needs to have its own workspace with its own heartbeat, with its own memory files, et cetera, et cetera. I haven't found a way to make it work otherwise. They need to have their own workspace. They could be co-located onto your main agent. You do not need to have a completely separate OpenClaw setup for that. Yeah, so this wasn't an issue for quite a few weeks for me. My biggest trick is pretty much every new task, I write /new. So it spins up an entirely new session. Once a week, I do memory reconciliation to where, recently I've been deploying a lot of different skills for all of my automations, all of my cron jobs, right? Automations. They now have their own skill tied to it. So rather than relying on memory files to execute a workflow, you create a skill that gives the step-by-step exactly what it needs to do to accomplish the output you're looking for, right? And instead of reading from memory files, it just references the skill. So it loads less tokens per prompt, right? Per task. It's quite an unlock, but it takes time to set up. And honestly, the way I approached my skill creation is I first automated things based off of memory, based off of going back and forth with my agent. Then it had so much context about my workflows, everything we were doing, all of the cron jobs, everything was very well detailed, but it would sometimes miss the beat on a desired output. And that's where skills come into play. Creating a custom skill, and then within that cron job, having it reference the skill and putting all of the data in the skill is the true unlock. It saves you so much context, and you don't have to, start new sessions or compact as frequently, I've learned. So I hope that answers your question. That was a little long-winded answer. Okay, good to know. Hey, you're the first to ask this. So listen, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I'm not gonna rush to launch it as a SaaS product, but I will eventually do this. And now that I know at least one person's interested in actually, paying for the product, this is something, it's built from a local perspective first. So a lot of the way it's wired is gonna have to change for me to turn it into a SaaS product. But it is on my list. So thank you for showing interest, and just subscribe. Make sure you interact with every video. That's the best way to support this channel. I'm doing all this for free. The least you can do, and all I ask, is hit like, comment, share it with a friend. That free engagement goes a long way, and most importantly, subscribe. Right on. Do the agents from different workspaces communicate with each other without special external communication channels? These are things you have to wire in. Yes, they can. By default, do they? No. To my findings, no, they did not. I had to wire that in. And I actually have a video coming out tomorrow, which gives you prompts and gives you certain commands to wire these things together. So tomorrow's video should answer your questions. I can give you a sneak peek into it if you guys want to see. I still haven't exported the video yet, but I'm going to export it when I go for dinner after this live stream, and I'll have it scheduled by the end of the night. That way tomorrow I can just focus on filming. But I'll give you guys a little sneak peek, because that's what these live streams are for. It's just all about building in public as much as I can. All right, let's pull this on screen here. I have 20 dive into Muddy. So this is kind of where I highlight Muddy OS. I'm going to show you how I wired. So I show an agent config example, my actual example, things together, and I'm going to give you your own prompts to. I blurred the prompts on the intro. Don't worry, they're not blurred in the video. Build your very own multi-agent setup within Open. And then there's other details here that are going to be shown on screen in the video that I think will help you with the inter-agent communication. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow. It goes live at exactly 24 hours from today. That's usually my scheduled time for videos, unless I'm rushing a video on the same day. It's about 1 minute until 7 p.m. here, European. And that's when I post Tuesdays and Thursdays. If it's scheduled, it goes live. What's that? 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST, and 7 p.m. local for me. So. Right on. I mean, have you ever thought of, are you vibe coding at all? Have you started trying to build your ideas out? Or at the very least, have you tried to start sketching them out? Because that would be a good place to start. It's like we all, maybe not all of us, but most of us, we all have tons of ideas. It's trying to figure out which ones are worth executing, and maybe creating a process and a workflow where you execute quickly to get that minimum viable product, get that little prototype working, and then you get an idea of oh, was this idea good? Was it bad? Will this create more stress and time in my life, or will this free up more time and alleviate stress? That's what I try to focus on, is the things that I create is all about freeing up my time to do the things I want to enjoy, to do the things I enjoy doing more than anything. Right on, Jason. Well, hey, thanks for being here. Oh, I hope you find some value in that video tomorrow. Not yet, not yet. And here's the reason. I would love to be comfortable doing that, and I'm sure I can automate some of it at some point. But it was always my goal with this channel was to bootstrap it, right? I don't want to hire editors because I want to learn. I enjoy editing. I may not always enjoy editing, but for now, for the sake of the growth of the channel and learning about how editing works, I've been making videos since I was a kid. I may have stopped making videos for a while, but I remember the family had a camcorder and we went on a family road trip to Lake Tahoe, and I forget what, it was some Windows-based editing video platform, and I made a family video. It must have been when I was in middle school. Because in high school I was off doing my own thing. But No, not yet. Not yet. I'm sure, listen, going back to it, I'm sure I can automate some part of my editing, but I truly do enjoy going through the growing pains of editing. And it was always my goal with this channel to reach 100 long form videos. I think right now we're at 70 or 71, so I still have another 30 to go. But with a goal of making each video better than the last, learning something new with each video I post, some new editing technique, some new way I present information, right? And I've gotten significantly better, and I'm only about 3/4 of the way there. So I have a feeling these last, 25 to 29 videos, my skill set's gonna be that much more increased. And then at that point, it's my assumption there will be an AI agent solution that will help me edit those videos a little bit more autonomously, but I'll be able to also explain how I want it to approach certain edits, right? Because I have a certain workflow where the very first thing I do is I trim start to finish. Then I trim out the intro. I cut it, right? And then I cut out the outro. And then I have the body. And then I shift the body up, I add a background. Then I optimize the audio one timeline. And then from there, that's where I start styling, condensing, removing empty talking points, rewatching everything, right? So I have my own process that I've developed when it comes to placing things on the timeline and the steps I take to do what I need to do. So, but if I go into trying to automate it without understanding the process, it would end up wasting time. I would get frustrated and it wouldn't work, right? I think a lot of automation comes comes from knowing how to do that task yourself first, like the back of your hand. You have to know how to do that task in order to automate that task in an easy way, right? Otherwise, you're gonna be beating your head against a wall if you've never automated the task, or if you've never done the task that you're trying to automate, right? Like, that's a given. So I think it's very critical to think that way of like anything you want to automate, what are repetitive tasks that you do that you can save time with? I know I just went off on a rant there, but listen, I enjoy the editing process right now. So, but yeah, at some point we will have an agent do it for us. I really want to get into vibe coding. I have absolutely no coding experience, so it's all definitely going to be a learning curve, but I think it's a must to build the best agents possible. Yeah. And I think it's also like, listen, OpenClaw is open source, right? It's the shiny new toy. Everyone's talking about it. Don't have FOMO. Don't have fear of missing out, because you're not missing out. It's not going anywhere. I think learning the fundamentals of how CLIs work first. I've built countless things in Claude Code CLI, even Codex CLI, even Gemini CLI. Then you can bring them all into your OpenClaw setup. Now, you don't need to have that knowledge to configure your OpenClaw agent, but it's beneficial to you to have that knowledge and experience so that you can communicate better with your OpenClaw agent, Especially like with my Clearmud OS, like my YouTube script has a completely different backend, right? It actually does this REST API call locally on my machine, and it spins up a Claude API session in the background. Or no, sorry, not API, CLI session in the background. So it doesn't call an API because the way it's configured locally. That's why for me to turn this into a SaaS product, I would have to completely rewire how it works in the backend. And I built this all local first, personal first, right? But it's like, I wouldn't know that if I didn't build it. So I know how to communicate with my OpenClaw agent to get everything working properly in this, Clearmud OS that I have spun up, that I've taken the time to carefully craft and put together. So it's just, I think anybody can start. It's just a matter of like, build your first thing. Have it be something fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just build, have fun. The first few things you build, you're gonna have fun doing it. You'll end up trashing them, guaranteed. And if I'm wrong, let me know. You would be a unicorn if the first thing you built went to $1 billion or was actually the thing you wanted to build. I think it's all about getting the repetitions in, personally. All right, I believe I was here. No, we already generated this idea. That's right. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit that one, but I have to first edit. Let me actually add these notes for Clearmud OS real quick, because there's some info changes I'm gonna have to make on Saturday. Okay, so that note's added in there. I actually like a majority of like the core of this script, right? Because we highlight like these are the benefits, right? First we talk about, yeah, let's be honest about what this tool is. The risks are real, but they're manageable. And then showing you like, there's the risks. Let me show you the outcome if you take the time to build, right? And then we show off each. I think that's a great video. Yeah, I like it. Okay. So I think tomorrow, I already have enough on my plate. I'll definitely record this one. Assuming Claude Opus 4.6, those issues should be resolved by tomorrow. This will be a fun build tomorrow. How much value that adds to the public, I don't know, but listen, I build things I want to build, so I'm gonna build it. And then I'll record this one as well. Ooh, we're gonna have to build something to deploy, won't we? I wonder if I use ClawCrib as a demo, because ClawCrib is hosted. Is hosted on Vercel, and I am in the process of finishing the rest of the app. Unless I build something new, what's something that you guys would want to see me build? Maybe I build it for this app. Maybe I just use an existing project, no? Because if I build an app for it, I'll probably turn it into a 2-part series. Like, I built this app, and then, you know, an introduction into like, stop pushing to main, set up Git branches, set up a preview environment, a staging environment, right? As well as your production environment, you know, have certain rules where it never merges to main, right? When you push to Git, it always first updates the staging branch, your preview branch, and then merges to main once you're happy with the preview environment. That's the proper way to do things. I'll try to find a project that I've already built. Yeah, I think people have unrealistic expectations for CB. If it gives me just a little bit more structure and time, I'll be happy. But I can see a year from now, my OS being really nicely curated. Yeah, and these things take time. I think another thing I've been noticing is, you know, people want to rush into like building the thing. I think you take your time and start simple with it. Build it out piece by piece. Like Muddy OS did, and Clearmud OS started as one thing. And then I added another thing. And then I built a front end for it. And then I didn't like it, so I went back to the CLI. And then OpenClaw became one of my primary agent setups. And then I incorporated it, and then I slowly started building things out. Same goes for Muddy OS. If you look at my live streams dating back to the beginning of January, I show off different versions of it. I show off like, here's what I built. I may not deep dive them, but I reference them, right? You'll see the evolution of where Muddy OS came from when I started to where it is now. And it's night and day, but it didn't happen at once, right? I built feature by feature, one at a time. Like, OS Mud SaaS. Build basic OS structures so that we don't have to buy your OS. Are you talking about my Clearmud OS? Listen, this is specifically for creators, right? I built this to optimize my life to help generate more content and structure it in a way where I can replace Notion as my monthly payment, which I have officially done now that I have this content calendar fully operational. That was my goal for me, right? But I do know that creators would find value in it, but it's not my intention to rush this to market, right? So I would encourage you to build your own. That's why I'm making these videos, to inspire you to build your own, you know? All right. Nice. Solid day of filming tomorrow. I'll end up filming this one next week because I want to redo the script. But I have 3 to approach. Tonight I'm going to do the thumbnails. I would love to do them right now, but I think it's almost dinner time. So I think it's shoot any questions you have before we end the live stream, but I think this is a great place to stop. We'll be back at it Wednesday with the first episode of the bootcamp. Come prepared. And we'll just wait for any last minute questions to roll in here. Yeah, if you're just tuning into this live stream, we have this bootcamp completely free starting Wednesday, and it's going to run every Wednesday until April 1st, which is going to be the last episode of the bootcamp. And we're going to go step by step. We're going to go from a fresh install of OpenClaw to building out the foundation, to then building out your own multi-agent team, to wiring everything together, to optimizing things with your own skills database, your own executive sync stand-ups to where they intercommunicate without you. And we're going to answer questions at the end of each episode. And I'm sure there's more to it, but that's my summarization of the bootcamp. So make sure there's no paywall for this. All you got to do is subscribe to this channel, hit the notifications bell. Make sure to engage. Do all the things that you can do for free to help out the channel, since we're giving away all this value for free. So like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. And yeah, I don't see any questions rolling in. So I think this is a great place to end it. I hope everybody's had a great start to the week. I hope you have a great couple of days, and then we'll be back at it Wednesday. We're going to hit the ground running. So I don't think, and this is me also thinking out loud for the bootcamp. I also want it to be just as valuable for people who are watching the recording as it is for people who are watching the live stream. So please come prepared. Don't come spamming questions on how do I set up my OpenClaw bot. First and foremost, come with a fresh setup ready to go, okay? Have it connected. Have the intro of like, hey, what should I call you? You can have it there, or you can have your existing setup. Point being is have it ready, because we're gonna hit the ground running. I'm gonna start building probably 2 to 3 minutes within the episode, okay? We'll wait for it to populate a little bit. And I think the move is we'll go through this website once at the beginning, highlight what's gonna be discussed during this episode, pull up this bootcamp page here, which is, my follow along for the build, right? And then we start building. And I'm gonna save the last 15 minutes of this episode 1 for Q&A, right? But I'm gonna do my best to kind of flow through it in a manageable way to where I'm not getting sidetracked by questions, right? I want it to be a follow along thing, not only live, but also recording, right? So try to save all your questions for the very, very end. Feel free to comment throughout the video. But as I mentioned, I really want to make it enjoyable to watch for anybody who discovers it down the road as a playlist on our channel. So yeah, rant over. I guess what I meant is I'm not sure how to build an OS, but I will think, although you use CLI a lot, which is cheaper and cheaper, I guess. Yeah, so, and hopefully this bootcamp will teach you how to build your own, right? That's the purpose of this bootcamp, is to build your own Muddy OS. Yes, sir. Wednesday, same time. So Wednesday at 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. EST, and 5 p.m. Lisbon time for anybody on this side of the world. Yeah, and hey, there's no such thing as a dumb question. But what I'm saying is I really want the bootcamp to be structured in a way to where we're flowing through a build along, and then we'll pick intermissions to answer questions. But what I won't do is, for example, like most of these live streams, I'm constantly focused on one thing, see a question, address the question immediately. I don't know how much value that's going to provide to everybody who's following along step by step. I think doing intermissions of Q&As is going to be the most efficient way to follow along, but also the most efficient way to watch it recording back in the future, right? Because I really want this series to live on YouTube for life and bring value to people who want to build their own OpenClaw setups down the road. So I'm thinking from that perspective. But to reiterate, there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is a question never asked, in my opinion. If you don't ask the question, then yeah, it's a dumb question. But if you ask a question and you think it's dumb, I don't think that's dumb. So yeah, that's a wrap. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Please make sure you do all the free things that can support this channel. I really appreciate you for being here, and I'm looking forward to the boot camp starting on Wednesday. So yeah, have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you Wednesday. Cheers. Happy building. That's going to be the new outro. Appreciate you, Young Dream. And I'm just going to pin some chat. Thank you, God Busy, for interacting. Thank you, Unfiltered. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Jason. Fernando, thank you. I wish I could pronounce that. Thank you. Thank you, Vic. Thank you, Vida. Thank you, Zombie. Going back. Thank you. I just want to make sure I address everyone. This is going to be a new outro theme here. Thank you, Moody. Thank you, Bren. And I believe Andra was in here before we were able to pin chats. So thank you to everybody, and we'll see you Wednesday. Happy building.